Founders Found here. Awesome interview today with Lizelle. Hello, Lizelle.
What's up, Jay?
How are you?
Great.
All right. I was about to ask, what do you do? Tell me about yourself. But let's actually rephrase it to, who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Whoa, this is serious.
It's serious.
We're starting off
Yeah, we're getting into it.
Who am I? I am, gosh, that is the craziest question.
It's hard, right?
Dude.
It's harder than it should be.
I am a human being living in Denver, Colorado, happens to be a startup founder, perpetually, habitually, to a fault.
Yep.
I guess I'm going to immediately move into what I do. Do you see how that goes?
Right, yeah.
Immediately, I'm like, what am I? What am I doing? Founder of Women New Startup, currently Chief Growth Officer at OwnTrail. Mm-hmm. So I love to build technology, I love to build companies, and I love to build community. But who I am, man, we'll come back to that.
Here's another way to answer it.
Yeah.
How do you think people would describe you in 2 words?
Deeply passionate.
Nice. All right. Well, last time we spoke, you told me about...
Or very loud.
Very loud and deeply passionate. That's good. We can...
Highly energetic.
All right.
Should we just keep doing this for now?
I dig it. Now we know who you are.
Yeah.
We get the idea. Last time we spoke, you told me about your 20s. You were working really hard, working yourself to the bone, to burnout, and then experienced some health issues, and that set your life on a different path ever since. Is that right?
That's true.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. So I was very fortunate at 19 to step into technology. I happened to be a graphic design intern right in the midst of my second degree at the Art Institute of Colorado. So long story long, I'm working for 9 years at a technology company. And that 9 years, I was an army of one. I was head of marketing, I was design, I was UX, UI, I was go-to-market, I built websites, I was everything in a small company that did a lot of amazing things in technology. But after 9 years, needless to say, I was worn a little bit to the bone. I don't know if I can give all of the clout of hitting a wall to the job, but it's a contribution. It's a major, major contribution. The short end of the story is I got sick when I was about 27, a case of bronchitis. You know, everybody gets that every now and then. I got prescribed some antibiotics, and my life has never been the same. I nearly died. I ate through a tube for 3 months. I lost nearly 70, 80 pounds. I was a skeleton version of myself. At 27, I really thought I was going to join the 27 Club. It's funny now, I can laugh about it. I'm 40 years old. I've done a lot of shit since, but it has not come without a lot of scars and a lot of bruises.
Yeah. This is from bronchitis.
I would say it was from taking antibiotics, which really transformed my body. Yeah. And it hit me so hard that I think I had a very, very severe allergic reaction to it. And it changed my nervous system and my immune system drastically. It took me 2 years to really get over that. I would never really actually be the same. I never eaten the same. I had to change my nutrition. I had to change my exercise. I had to change my mindset about a lot of things. It was drastic. It was impactful. It was life-altering. And so late 20s was kind of like a kapow moment. It was a smack in the face, a kick in the butt, and it made me also, obviously, really reflect on my life and my work. This would become a very common theme throughout my life. I would have more intervals of these moments of reflection, moments of burnout, because I'm a perpetual in love with building companies. Yeah. And what you have to have for that is this knack, this love, this deep passion for wanting to run up mountains, even though they look frighteningly, terribly intimidating.
Yeah.
So 27 was interesting. So by the time I was 30, I really changed my life. I immediately left that corporate kind of enterprise environment, and I started working for myself. So since 2012, I've been working for myself, building my own companies. That's where I really stepped into the ether of startups and building companies from scratch in technology, high growth potential companies, right? So at first I was like, never again, technology, I'm done, this is it. But I have a deep love for technology, for innovation, for people, and for how to humanize technology to build awesome things that connects us better, that makes us better, because that's just who I am, right? So that really inspires me. So for the last decade, I've been building companies, some my own, some other people's. I've been building community. In that process of learning to build companies, I started to pay attention to the rooms that I were in, and I started to realize, well, there's no women.
Yeah.
There's no people of color. Where's the LGBTQ folks? Where's the disabled community? Like we need innovation from every corner of our communities. Everyone should contribute. Everyone should learn. Everyone should be a part of, right? That's why it's so amazing, like during Denver Startup Week, as you look back at 11 years, we've come a long way. We didn't start this way. We've come a long way because a lot of people had to lead, had to say everyone's welcome. Not everyone's just welcome. Everyone's necessary, right? So a lot of that can wear on you when you're learning and leading and building and chipping away and all these things. So I've had multitudes of hitting walls where I'm like, whoa, I don't feel like myself. I'm at a level of exhaustion that's not healthy. And then you have to take inventory of that. You become really good at this over time. Some people become really good at this over time. I have become okay. I don't want to give myself a medal just yet, but I have become better and better and better at understanding where my energy begins and ends, how to thrive, how to burn myself out, what the signs are. And I think the amazing thing is learning from that, I can teach a lot of that, which is to say, I can spot it from a mile away. So I talk to a lot of other founders. I advise a lot of founders. I mentor other up-and-coming community builders, startup founders, CEOs, CTOs, CMOs, you name it. And I always kind of now, I have more of a mantra, which is to say, like people know me as Lizelle, keep climbing, right? Like the mantra that I built at Women Who Start Up was keep climbing, which people always kind of thought meant never stop. Not true. In fact, stop as many times as necessary. I've stopped so many times. This last 3 years, I've been stopping in a chill zone. I've been building, but I've not been building and 20 other things. I've been building and nurturing my health, myself, which obviously, inevitably then makes for better companies, makes for better teams, makes for better experiences. When you're really young, you think the faster I run up this mountain, the faster I build this thing, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about being young. That's a part of learning. So that's a part of the experience. But then you kind of, you get to 40, if you're still standing, and you've got a lot to think about and show for it. And you go, ooh, it was never about how fast I get here or how quickly we ship, or it is always about how quickly you ship. However, it's also, but most importantly, about who you're building with and what that experience really is all about. Because you're not going to get to the destination and go, woo! You're going to get to the destination and go, you're either going to be really, really, really inspired by who you've met and who you've touched and like how you have left it better than you found it, versus like for most of us, we can reach that end zone and be really empty and go, oh shit, now what's next? Because I feel a little lost now that I'm not working on this anymore.
Yeah.
So
a lot of stuff.
I know.
What do you define as the destination?
I think self-discovery is the destination.
How do you know when you're there?
I think when you start to get to know yourself really well, I say this a ton. Entrepreneurship is a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
The more you get to know yourself, the more you get to figure out what you're good at, what you're not so good at, how you should go about not being so good at that or those things, and the people that you bring into the fold, and also what you care about, what you waste or choose to spend energy and time on. As you get a little bit up there in age, I think you become really cognizant of time and energy. And those two things are everything. Because you can't really replenish time. You can replenish energy with rest, but time is investment. It's gone, right? So Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Maybe there's a counter question to that.
Yeah, I love the discussion, the topic of entrepreneurship being, how did you phrase it?
Self-discovery.
Entrepreneurship is self-discovery?
I
or
think
the best
so.
form of self-discovery?
I think entrepreneurship is a self-discovery journey.
I've had a similar quote for years now, which is entrepreneurship is the best path to your true self.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Quite similar.
Beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about that. How do you inspire people who haven't taken the entrepreneurial leap to do that this way, through this quote?
So no two entrepreneurs I've ever met have the same journey. That's the beautiful thing. We have unusual backgrounds. We have crazy windy roads by, arriving at entrepreneurship or founding something. Most people, half the people I meet that are building companies are like, I never set out to become an entrepreneur. This is a part of my journey. It's a part of my story. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
So I would say the most important thing in life, maybe, or in entrepreneurship, is to live up to your potential. Surround yourself with humans that you feel are elevating your life, because that will elevate your possibilities, your opportunity, your potential. So I feel like a lot of people are in environments where they could be so much more. Yeah. Then they discover entrepreneurship. Then they're around all these people, especially whether it's a startup week or a startup weekend or a hackathon, or they're like, whoa, there's energy, there's vibrancy, there's ideation, there's innovation. I want to contribute, I want to learn, I want to grow. I think all of us have that yearning in life. We want to learn, we want to grow, we want to live up to our potential. Entrepreneurship gives us another way to live up to our potential, to innovate, to be creative, to be enriched, to mentor, to mentee, to build something, to break shit, to ship things, what have you, whatever. Yeah. And I think, isn't that amazing? Like, what a privilege. Like, how amazing is that, right?
I often feel like people, they think about being an entrepreneur as this pretty binary thing. It's like, I have to quit my job.
Right.
I have to liquidate my savings.
Right.
I have to maybe take out a second mortgage on my home, and I have to start this tech startup or this huge service business. That is all part of it, but there's so much more behind the scenes of what entrepreneurship means. You could be selling things on Etsy on the side. You could be flipping products at a garage sale.
True.
Right? Like
Gary Vee.
What are some of your favorite approaches of favorite types of entrepreneurs that you think more people like dabble in this first, start here, get the journey out of it without quitting your job, liquidating your savings, putting your kid's private school on hold or whatever it may be?
Yeah. So, I love this question because I feel like there's a lot of layers to this onion. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of old narrative in startup land that if you're committed, nothing else should be on your table. Nothing else should be on your plate. So that means that you have a side job or a side hustle, you're distracted. Okay, well that sounds like a very privileged perspective. Okay, some people have to have 3 jobs in order to be able to tinker on this concept idea that they have had gnawing at them for 3, 4, 5 years maybe. And the only way that they can really begin to go about that is by working as a bartender on the weekends or driving Uber or whatever. I've met some of the most incredible people building their companies, making a buck in very creative, innovative ways. And I think that is the entrepreneur's story. You find ways, no matter how, to make sure that you put bread on the table. Maybe you have a family. Not everybody is lucky to come up with an idea at 23 when maybe at that age you don't have all sorts of other responsibilities, right? And besides, what is the average age of a successful entrepreneur?
It's like 42, right?
45.
45.
Hello, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want everybody to just relax about that too. At the same time, there is no one way. There's no one route. There's no one journey. I meet thousands of entrepreneurs, and then there's 1,000 different ways that they've gone about it. This is why I love working on OwnTrail right now, because I'm looking at thousands of members with thousands of different types of backgrounds and journeys and milestones, and they're all thriving in their own unique ways. And it's perpetuated by being able to be in an environment where everybody's thriving with these unusual journeys. The point is that if you're thinking about entrepreneurship today and maybe you don't know how to begin. The best way to begin is within a community, whether that's online or in real life, and you ask questions. You learn from others. You start to find things in that space that looks like, feels like, tastes like what you are curious about. You do your research. Then you start to tinker. Tinkering leads to validation, deeper research. Can I build something? Should I build something? Maybe I tinker with a first prototype of something. Can I go validate that? You know what I mean? Will somebody pay me for that?
And you do this at your pace.
You can do it at all sorts of paces, yes. I mean, I think that it's a real shame that someone who's building a technology startup is considered some way, shape, or form completely different of a type of entrepreneur than a mom in the middle of America that on the side has a thriving Etsy store, to your amazing example. And she's kicking butt. She found a market. She found a niche. She's a producer. She creates. She's putting... And the only thing that matters is if she loves it. And if she's banging some bucks, like, whoa, you're learning, you're building, you're shipping, you're making money, you're thriving. You are creating a business. You're giving value to people in exchange for currency.
Totally.
Business, baby.
Totally.
Yeah, we need to walk a little away from the old narrative of like, it's this way and it's only this way. I feel like we have all changed on that narrative, but there's still some of that being perpetuated. Now, I would say that if you are building a real company that is a technology company and you've got millions of dollars raised from VCs, you might want to put a few things, hobbies and things on hold for a moment because a lot of people are counting on you, especially your team and your customers and your partners and then your all your shareholders, right? The board, the VCs, whatever you. And so take that seriously. And I think when you take that seriously, you'll know that it makes sense and you're going to run and you're going to be focused. Focus is a big, big thing. We cannot overstate that when you're building a tech startup and you're taking money for that, be focused. Prioritize like crazy. Be focused, prioritize, because it's tough.
Totally. So it's a little bit of a change of gears for a sec.
Yes, sure.
Let's talk about mental health.
Sure.
Entrepreneurship is hard on mental health. We have data to back that up. But I think that there's a world where entrepreneurship is actually great for your mental health if you do it in a certain way.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yes, I love that. I think that's a beautiful way to shape the idea that entrepreneurship is really tough. It's really tough on us. It wears on us. It's tough on the mind, the body, the soul, energetically. It's tough on our significant others, our friends, our family. We have no lives. When we're building, it's kind of nuts. And everybody's different how they build. But. Here's the amazing thing. Every moment I've ever had in between companies were actually the darkest moments. It wasn't when I was building. It wasn't when my mind had something to gnaw on every day, to figure out, to puzzle together, to be creative, to innovate, and the people that were meeting constantly, whether it was the team or the people that were customers or founders or partners or investors or what have you. And so I do think that a lot of the narrative about mental health and mental wellness around entrepreneurship is only the one side. Listen, we have to get real. 70% of entrepreneurs suffer from mental health related realities, ADHD, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. We know that many of us have brains that are perpetually active, extremely creative, hungry for more, and you have to learn how to balance that and support yourself in that. So I would say that at the same time, entrepreneurship is a gift. Because what if I didn't have that? Am I just going to sit and build puzzles all day and play with Legos? No.
It's kind of a chicken
That sounds
and egg
really
thing.
fun. But we have brain capacity to be really creative, to be inventive, to solve really, really hard problems in the world. And call it a downside or call it the other side of entrepreneurship, it's real. There has to be a balance in the order of things. And I think if you're in the right environments and you have the right support community, people in your corner, you talk to enough fellow founders, you start to and begin to learn. You have to embody it. It's one thing for people to tell you, listen, find some balance. 18-hour days is not healthy. Doing that 7 days a week for the next 2 years is not a great idea. Yeah. If you hit a wall, you may not recognize yourself. I think a lot of us have gone through that stuff. So if we can speak to, especially up and coming founders, younger founders, founders for the first time founders, and we can kind of present this not in a way it's like, hey, listen, I know better, blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, listen, you know what's kind of great? The healthier you are, the healthier your company will be. Yeah. The more you invest in sleep, exercise, and nutrition, the clearer your mind is and the more you are focused on problem solving. Yeah. And so if we can perpetuate intelligent people by saying like, listen, what you put into this tank is what's going to come out in your products, your companies, your teams, and that be like, that's attractive to the world, to the customer, to investors, to da-da-da-da. I have a philosophy that is, as an entrepreneur, train like an athlete. Mm-hmm. It's no different. Mm-hmm. You have to sleep well. You have to exercise. You have to eat well. Mm-hmm. You have to live a lifestyle that says, I'm going to cut out a lot of fat. I'm going to cut off a lot of things that a lot of other people do. Tons of socialization and this and this and this. I don't do that because I don't want to drain my energy because I want to think clearly. Mm-hmm. I love to build. So you just have to choose, there's choices. And I know it's tough and it sounds kind of wild and maybe a little, bizarre to many people, but I've built enough companies to know that if I do the things that make me feel incredible, my work is incredible. Yeah. And even if my work is not incredible to the whole world, I feel wonderful about my work. And what is more important than that in my life than me feeling good about my contribution and the people that I'm working with saying, this is a hell of a contribution. Yeah, I love the analogy of train like an athlete, train like an entrepreneur. Totally. It's real. I feel like it's real. Yeah, I have an open-ended question kind of for the world, and it's a tricky one. So I'll vulnerably say I'm not sure how to best dance around the words here. Fire away. We say 72% of entrepreneurs struggle with anxiety, depression, ADHD, their mental health. But was it entrepreneurship that caused those struggles? And I'm one of those people. I'm one of those 72 for sure. Sure. Did I have that already and I use entrepreneurship as a tool and a vehicle to just it's almost therapeutic to those struggles. Yeah. So sure, I'm an entrepreneur and I struggle with my mental health, but I need entrepreneurship for my mental health. Yes. I think that. I'm curious if that's a conversation that should be had more. Yeah. Yes, short answer. Absolutely, we should talk about that more. So I'll start with saying I'm not a doctor. Yeah. I'm not a therapist. Yep. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. I am not any of those things either. But I am human. I am an entrepreneur. I have done this a lot. I have plenty of experience with anxiety, depression. I'm pretty sure I am a highly undiagnosed ADHD individual. Yeah. And I love that about myself. I did not always. So let me try and unpack this for you the only way I know to unpack it for you, with my own life, my own story, my own know-how. So I can't involve, the norm or people at large, but I do think we're not an anomaly. I'll say that. So for me, I think, gosh, if I didn't have entrepreneurship, would I be nuts, tragically unhappy? Would I be here? Would I have something to live up to? That sounds a little dark and a little heavy, but I think that's really, really important to consider. I think entrepreneurship is much like artistry. We're artists. Mm-hmm. We're creating from nothing. Mm-hmm. Literally. Yeah. We pull shit out of our heads and we build them every day, all day. Some of us do it habitually, which is a whole nother level. That's a whole nother gear that you don't even realize you can go to. So this is what I would say. For me, knowing how I grew up, I have lots of childhood trauma that I've experienced. Not important to unpack that. I think most humans have trauma throughout their lives. That trauma has shaped me into a piece of who I was growing up. And I think for me, having those experiences and then many other experiences throughout the course of my life, I'm an immigrant, I'm gay, there's all sorts of experiences in my life that gave me that made me who I am, that created layers of resilience, that for me, when someone says to me, Lizelle, it's really difficult to build a company, right? I usually go, for me, no. It's the most amazing fucking thing I have ever done, and about the easiest fucking thing I've faced in my whole fucking life.
Yeah.
Because the things I've overcome in my life were really fucking scary.
Mm-hmm.
They were terrifying. They were lonely. They perpetuated all sorts of scary things in life. And I survived them. So for me to have the privilege to build companies, to build it with cool people, to share that with the world, to be inventive and to fucking take technology and connect humans and give value and blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's about the easiest, most magical thing I've ever done in my life. So imagining that not being a tool for my mind, don't want to live in that world. No, thank you. Close that nasty door.
Entrepreneurship saved your life.
Most naturally.
Yeah.
Sports and entrepreneurship have always given my mind and my body something to thrive off of, so that I can remind myself what I'm made of. And that's for me. That's for me, right? Like, you don't have to do that for other people. And I think that's a part of the self-discovery.
Yeah.
I think when we're really young, we're trying to prove something to the world. Maybe we're trying to prove someone wrong, or maybe a parent told us that maybe, you know, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not tall enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not this enough. Like, a lot of entrepreneurs I talk to are trying to live up to something that maybe they failed at, and so you push so hard and blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. I'm saying those were some of our experiences. That might be your experience, but you learn, hopefully, you get to a point where you learn, you start doing it for you. For you, you, for you. It makes you a better fucking version of yourself. And that is the only thing that starts to really count. Because the best version of yourself has the best ideas, has the fucking best potential for leadership, creativity, innovation, you name it.
Yep. And what is the first step?
Oh.
Join a community?
Well.
Surround yourself with the people.
Yeah, nice. Yes. I think...
Have to plug it.
Yes.
But it's why we exist. I think it's the first step.
Listen, that's why I built a community.
Yeah.
Selfishly, 2012, there I am. I leave my corporate job. I start to walk around Denver and Boulder, and I'm seeing all these communities, and I'm like, where are all the women? Where's all the diversity? So then I'm like, well, I want to learn from all sorts of different entrepreneurs. Let me gather with like 3 people. And then it became 5, and then it became 10, and then it's 50.
Yep.
By 2015, we were thousands of members, right? The last decade, I've met thousands and thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs that enrich my life. Everyone's learning. So yes, community is hypercritical. The right communities, maybe even more. Could be online, could be in real life. I think both is a good combo. Mentors are over-perpetuated, but I really love the idea of having humans that you can truly count on. It doesn't have to be a true mentor. It could be the guy at 7-Eleven that just has these magic fucking one-liners when you go and buy some water like every now and then.
Yeah.
Learn from the humans that are giving you guidance. It's everywhere. It's out there. If you're open and you're receiving, you will find who you are, what you're capable of. Community is key. A commitment to wanting to get to know yourself and be the best version of yourself, I think, is a big part of life.
Yeah.
Let alone life as an entrepreneur or a founder or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I come back to some basics, which is to say, who do you want to be? What do you want to live up to? The only person you really need to make proud is yourself.
Yeah.
The only person you have to fall in love with is you. It's really tricky. It's like bizarro, right? It's like, whoa, Lizelle, chill out, man. Sure. But it's true, right? Sure. It's really true. And I think it takes a lifetime for a lot of us to kind of like unravel this stuff. I'm no expert by any means. I feel like I'm a very good student, both of life and entrepreneurship.
Yep. Quick lightning round.
Do it.
3 books entrepreneurs should read this year. Go.
Favorite book, I buy it for everybody. Let My People Go Surfing, Yvon Chouinard. It's one of the best books on planet Earth. I think he's one of the coolest people on planet Earth. He literally just gave his company to planet Earth. Yeah. And so that, to me, is the most admirable thing I've ever seen. Literally, that article brought me to tears.
Yep.
It moved me to my knees. Incredible. Other books. If you're really serious about figuring out how to take technology to market, read Traction. Most founders I talk to don't know how to take an idea to market. Traction is your book, baby.
Yep.
It's going to help you understand, oh, there's like literally 30 things I can do. I need to choose one or two as my traction channel to go to market and figure out who's my customer, find product market fit. Yes, 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 yes. That's it. So traction is a good one. The ego is the enemy. Ryan Holiday. More philosophical, more stoic. I think what you have to understand when you're building companies is yourself. So start to unravel and unpack your own psychology.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.